Good morning and welcome to Peace Out. It came on faster than I thought. How are you doing this morning? I hope you're doing great, and welcome to Peace Out again, where we're learning to peace out, where we're learning some things that we're going to talk about today. And I hope I can encourage you today. It encouraged me today because I'm in this spot. Ever just been in a spot? Well, before I do that, let me remind you of the book of the week, which is The Year Orange Juice Saved My Life. It's available on Kindle, on Amazon, or in my Dove's Fire Ministry bookstores.com. It's in an ebook. You can download it to your phone, tablet, computer, whatever your reading device, and read it there. Anyways, the story of it's my personal testimony. I lived it, y'all. You can't argue with personal testimony, right? When you were so sick, literally to death, my mom literally planned my funeral because we thought I was going to die. But God, look, I didn't, right? So God, the only explanation is that God raised me up out of that. But there were so many elements in that single story. Just think about this one story. This is one little year in my 63 years of life that God just showed up and showed out, right? He proved himself faithful, and he's done it over and over and over again. But that's just one story. We all have so many different stories of how God has just shown up in our lives, right? And we've all been through some stuff. We've all got blood on our testimony. We've got stuff going on. And that's really leads me into what I want to talk about today, because I was struggling with some things early this morning. I was praying and writing down some notes and going through lots of verses. And I ended up in Galatians because I was thinking about Abraham's promise, and I was actually in chapter 3 where it says we are heirs of his promise. First off, we're the fulfillment of his promise. We're all those heirs he talked about, the nations. We're part of that promise. Does that not just thrill you that God didn't leave us out? That here we are all these years and generations past Abraham, and we're still walking out what God told Abraham. And we are those grains of sand that can't be numbered, because we believe in Christ, so we are an heir to the promise. Anyway, I was reading all that, right? And so I just kind of continued reading down through Galatians, and I got to the scripture, and I went, man, that's what I needed to hear today. It wasn't in Deuteronomy where I was reading. It was in Galatians, and I was reading the fruit of the Spirit. I started to talk about that, and just, hanging in there for that. And then I got to this verse, and like I said, this is my plug for reading, okay? Because you get to that spot that grabs you, just camp there. This is going to be my meditation for the day. This one little bitty verse here in Galatians 6, let me see what verse it is. Verse 9, it says, "So, don't get tired of doing what is good. Don't get discouraged and give up, for we will reap a harvest of blessing at the right time, or the appropriate time." And so I sum that up to don't give up. Don't give up. That's the one. That's what I needed to hear this morning, because I got several things going on where I'm just going, why am I even doing this? I know, honestly, when I got this one, I was like, I don't want to do peace out. I just want to lay in bed, drink coffee out of my new mug that I got for reading 5 books, and lay here and just read. And I don't want to get up. It's cold, and I don't want to get out of this warm bed. I got an electric blanket, And so sometimes we just get to that place where it's just like, I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do. And then after I hit this, and I was like, oh, I got to share this. This is good. Don't give up, right? Just don't give up, no matter what. And so then I started thinking about all of our Bible heroes. Aren't they our Bible heroes because they didn't give up in the face of adversity? Aren't they our heroes because, David didn't go, oh, a giant. Oh, I'm going home where it's safe. Bye, y'all. He didn't give up. He said, what do you get when you take him out? God's going to give him to my hand. And he was the youngest one. He wasn't even old enough to be in the battle, right? He wasn't even military age, but he didn't give up when the giant stood there and acted so silly and tried to intimidate and aggravate and demean. David didn't give up. That's what makes him our hero, right? Is he said, God's going to give you to my hand. He didn't give up. He didn't tuck his tail and run home. And I thought of all our other Bible heroes, like Daniel, who was a captive in a foreign land. He grew, although he was blessed and he grew up in a palace, he was a captive. They did horrible things to their captives, to their slaves, so that they couldn't create more of themselves, right? And so Daniel didn't give up. And then we have the story of the lion's den. You know, there's a whole lot more to that story. We have the 3 Hebrew children. You know, there's all kinds of stories throughout Daniel of people who didn't give up. We have Joseph, who didn't give up when he was betrayed by his brothers and sold and lived his life as a slave, and then ended up in prison for something he didn't do. He didn't give up. We have Moses, who I used this term in my brain, and I started not to use it, but I probably will. He had this dichotomy of existence. He had this identity crisis. Do I belong with the Egyptians? They raised me, they saved me. Or do I belong with the Israelites, my real people? Do I belong here? Do I belong there? He had this identity crisis. He finally decided to be identified with God's people rather than Pharaoh's, the richest of Pharaohs, it says in Romans, I think it is, right? But he had all kinds of issues, but he didn't give up. He went seeking that burning bush. And then he argued. He said, who am I to... I can't even talk good. You want me to go talk to Pharaoh? Besides, I just ran away from there, and you want me to go back? But he didn't give up. With Paul and Silas, who are sitting in a prison in the middle of the night. They've been beaten. They've been told not to preach the gospel. And they're sitting there singing to God and praising God because they didn't give up. Jesus didn't give up. He prayed in the garden, man, Father, if you can take this from me, that will be great, but I'm going to do your will. He didn't give up, and that's good for us. What if he had given up? We'd have been lost. We'd have still been having to perform all the crazy stuff in the Old Testament, trying to please God, trying to atone for our sins, but Jesus took care of all of it. He didn't give up. So I want to encourage you today by saying, you're in good company, right? You're in company of lots of people who could have given up, people who had crazy stuff going on in their lives, who had painful things going on in their lives, who walked through fires, literally sometimes, who walked through trials, they were betrayed by their own family members, they were given up, they were betrayed by friends, they were left, and Paul was even stoned one time and left for dead, right? But he didn't give up. No matter what is going on in our lives, right this minute, and you've got your list and I got mine. We're not going to compare, okay? We're in a perfect place to trust him. No matter what. It's a perfect time to trust him. We're in the perfect place to trust him. He's the perfect God to put it all in his hands and say, this is what I was doing this morning. I don't even know. But I do know this. It doesn't matter. I'm going to trust him no matter what. I'm not giving up. So I just encourage you today to just don't give up in trusting God. No matter how much you think you've messed it up, that's usually my thing, right? No matter how much you think you God can't bring something good out of a situation. I was giving him my list this morning. He didn't really pay much attention, though, right? And what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with this? What am I going to do with it? And I mess this up or I mess that. It doesn't matter. Just don't give up on trusting God. He is our source of life. He's our source of faith. He's our source of hope. He's our source of peace. Just don't give up. He's got you. He knows right where you are in your mental state, in the state of your heart. And he still says, just bring it all. He doesn't say, bring everything except don't bring that. Don't bring that. No, he says, bring it all. I just want you. So today, I just encourage you to don't give up. Trust him for just one more day. If you have to do it a minute at a time, a second at a time, a day at a time, trust him for one more day. Why? Because he's still the same God that we read about in Exodus. He's still the same God we read about in Genesis that said, let there be light. And there was light. Nothing argued. Light didn't go, I'm not quite ready. Hold on just a second. Right? He said, let the waters be here and there and the land separate. And the land didn't go, hold on. I'm still snoozing. Can I hit the snooze on that for a minute? Nothing argued with him. Let there be plants that yield its own fruit that has seeds in it to make more plants. Just do it. And the earth didn't go, what? Everything obeyed. It's that same God that we're still trusting today. Don't give up. You can trust him. He's got You have a great day. Peace out, and I'll see you bright and early Monday morning.